Hello to all my colleagues. I hope you to be great. I'm so excited because in this moment I am with Luisa Montalvo. Yay. Luisa is the world champion of public speaking of this year 2024. So I think that with that I say everything.
Toastmasters International.
Yeah, Toastmasters International Contest. Luisa, thank you so much for being here. How do you feel today?
I feel great. I feel fantastic. Thank you for having me. And I am honored because I know usually you do your podcasts in Spanish and you're speaking in your second language, which is English. So I am honored that you're doing that for me. Thank you.
Well, I am honored to be here with you. Well, both are honored.
We're both honored.
Luisa, I have many questions for you. Thanks for the opportunity of sharing this, not only with me, with the audience. And of course that all the audience, mainly the Toastmasters, will be interested of knowing more about you.
Okay.
So maybe the first question that it's important to know about all your journey through this amazing experience is, how did you get into Toastmasters?
Great question. How did I get into Toastmasters? It's an answer I've answered a few times. I was actually in Austin, Texas in 1989. I had just started working at Abbott Laboratories. And after you're there for 3 months as a temporary, then you go fill out paperwork. You go down to HR, Human Resources, and fill out the paperwork to become a permanent employee. And I remember walking down the hallway to go fill out the papers after 3 months, and I heard people in a room, but they were all laughing. And I said, something's wrong because this is work and nobody's supposed to be laughing and having a good time at work. And as I walked by, there was a little glass window in the door, and I noticed there was a gentleman at the front of the room, and it looked like he was giving a speech. And I put my ear to the door and I heard his jokes, and I immediately said, Luisa, you're funnier than he is. What's going on? And they were actually having a humorous contest. So the sergeant at arms wouldn't let me in because the speaker was speaking. But as soon as he finished speaking, he opened the door and I said, what's going on? He says, we're having a Toastmasters International Humorous Contest. And I said, oh, can I compete today? And he says, ma'am, you have to be a member first. So I went and signed up. And that's how I started competition with Toastmasters. I had seen a humorous contest in the making, and I thought, I want to do this, and that's how I started.
That was your first club?
Mm-hmm.
Home
Yes.
club?
Yes, it was a home club. It was, I believe it was called World Class Speakers through Abbott Laboratories, but they only had the club there for 3 years. So after the 3 years was over, I feel I made a mistake, and I didn't go looking for another Toastmaster club, and I think I should have. I probably would have been a better speaker sooner, but I didn't go looking for another club until after I retired and moved back here to South Texas.
And how do you return to Toastmasters when you moved?
Well, actually, I had moved in here. I didn't have my internet set up or anything, so I went down to the local library here in Far, Texas, and as soon as I walked in, Phyllis Allen, my 94-year-old mentor, yes, hello, Phyllis. Thank you, Phyllis. She had put up a bright yellow poster, and it said, join Toastmasters. I went, oh my gosh, Toastmasters, they have it here. And I loved it so much in Austin, I said, I have to join again because it was so much fun, and I enjoyed it. So I signed up, and that's how I started back with Toastmasters.
Do you remember what year it was?
I want to say it was either 2012 or, no, it's 2013. Okay. 2013 when I joined again.
Here in Texas.
Here in South Texas, yes.
In South Texas, yeah. And another very important question, like highlight, how do you decide to start competing?
That's an easy question for me. It's not usually easy for anyone else because most people have a fear of public speaking, and I do not. And I am very competitive in anything I do. It doesn't mean contest, or it's just anything. My mom and I used to compete to see who could mow our yard faster or better, or who could wash our cars faster or better. So it's always been a competition with my mom. And I think she instilled to be competitive in me. And that's, so when I joined Toastmasters, I thought, oh, this competition, I love it. Let's do it.
You started directly with the international speech contest?
No, actually, I started with the humorous because I love humorous. And I believe after the first year, the 2013, I think in 2014, someone, I believe it was Phyllis Allen, said you need to start competing in the international contest because I believe with humorous and most of the contests, they just go to district. She said if you want to go past district, compete in the international. And that's what I started doing.
Did you write your first speech? Did you use a experience to...
All my speeches are from my past experiences in life because I feel that every day I'm going to learn something new and I'm able to take that and convert it into a speech. And the one thing that I always want to do is leave my audience with a message to let them know you might think things are going tough or they're tough on you or you're having a bad experience or something. There's always a silver lining. There's always a lesson to be learned from anything that happens to me in my life. And that's just what I want to share with the audience.
You have mentioned a very important person, Phyllis Allen. Would you share more about her?
Absolutely. Phyllis Allen, my mentor, she's probably the best mentor I've ever had. She is now 94 years old, and she started Toastmasters almost 50 years ago. And 50 years ago, Toastmasters International did not allow women in the club. So as soon as they started allowing women, I believe she joined 4 years after they allowed women. And she had a terrible fear of public speaking, but she was a secretary to a very important CEO. So she felt she was going to have to learn how to give speeches and be more comfortable with public speaking. So when she joined Toastmasters, she really liked it. She embraced it, her and her husband. And then what they started doing when she retired was they started coming down here to South Texas for the winters to get away from the snow. She's from Des Moines, Iowa. So when she started coming down here, she thought, I'm going to look for a Toastmaster club, and I'm just going to go and maybe give a speech or two. But then she found out we had no Toastmaster clubs here in South Texas. So I believe she's chartered 6 clubs down here. And I'm so grateful she did, because if she hadn't, I wouldn't have been able to compete or gone on to win the world champion.
We could say that Phyllis is like the butterfly effect for you in the Toastmasters organization.
Yes, well, she's also the ripple effect, because you know they say when you toss the little stone into the pond, you see the ripple effect.
Oh,
so with her being able to start 1 club down here, and then 2, and then 5, and then 6, we now have, I believe, 5 clubs down here in our area, and I'm very grateful that she did that. Very grateful, because I love Toastmasters and I love the competition and the speeches. So, yep.
I can see. I met you I knew that you exist on 2019 because my partners from Matamoros 4076, we used to cooperate for watch the live streaming, and there were you got the 2nd place in that time. But in this time that we have been talking, you have told me that you have been competing many times, and also that you were the MC for a conference, district conference. How was that experience?
I recall I would compete at the club level, and then area, and then division, and then you go on to district. And my goal, and I'm realizing now I wasn't set my goals high enough, because all I wanted to do was win district. And I should have been telling myself, you need to win 1st place in the world. But I was going to be happy with district. So with the district, every time it seems like I competed, I wouldn't place, or I would place 3rd. And what I wanted to do was take it all the way to 1st in the world. And one year, I can't remember when it was, I think it was 2016, I actually lost at division, which I wasn't used to doing. I was used to going on all the way to district. So when I lost at division, the district director approached me, Amy Espinosa, and said, can you be the MC for the district conference? And I was more nervous about being the MC than actually competing, because competing I have no problem with, but getting up there and giving a 20-minute keynote to be able to introduce all of the speakers, I was really nervous, but I had so much fun. I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I'm so grateful for Amy for her insight and being able to approach me and ask me to do that, because I was so upset with myself that I had lost a division, and she came in and saved the day and redirected all my attention. So I'm grateful for her for that.
And how was the experience of being in front of a lot of people in a district conference? Not as participant, as...
I've learned that since I have no fear of public speaking, and I give my mother all the credit for that, because she put me in front of a large audience when I was 10 or 12 years old. So I have no fear of public speaking. So the larger the audience for me, the better I do. I rather speak to 1,500 people than 4 people. Because with 4 people, you can see all 4 and they're all staring at you. Where with 1,500, you really can't see anything but a large audience. So I am more comfortable speaking with a larger audience. It was something I don't think I'll ever forget, because it was so much fun, because I realized it wasn't a competition, that I could be up there, I could be relaxed. I didn't have to worry about, did I say the right thing? Did I do the right thing? Am I over time? Any of that. So to me, hosting or emceeing, being the Toastmaster for the district conference was really awesome. I loved it.
Wow. As I told you, I met you, well, I knew that you exist at 2019. And I remember that next to the district level was the region level, and we had to send a video. And I say we because we competed in the same region.
Oh, that's right, yes, we're in the same region, right.
Yeah, and how was when, I think you received an email or a notification that you were going to the semifinals of the World Championship of Public Speaking. Do you remember what you were doing or how?
I remember exactly what I was doing, and it's funny that you asked, because my friend and I were getting ready to drive up to New York to go drop off about 60 homeless shelter dogs. And we were actually right out here, right behind my house, and we were loading up my bus with the dogs and the crates, and I heard my phone go off, and it was a message, and I looked and I went, what's this? And it said, congratulations, you've won region, you're going on to the semifinals. And I was, wait, what does that mean? I didn't even know what it meant. And then a few seconds later, I was approached by a previous winner who wanted to know if I wanted to be coached to be able to go on to the semifinals and finals. I was like, oh my gosh. So I called Phyllis Allen right away. And I said, Phyllis, you're never going to believe this. I'm going on to the semifinals. And she was so excited, and I was excited for her. But I remember exactly what I was doing. It was about 8 o'clock at night, and we were getting ready to drive up to New York. So it was pretty exciting.
What in that year where it was? Denver? No.
It was Denver, Colorado, yes. Denver, Colorado.
You were in the best speakers of the world.
Yes.
Do you remember how it was? Well, if you want to share it, of course. You arrived, you looked at the speakers from your semifinal, how it was, of that information that you could share and you want to share here.
I think because I'm so competitive, I look at everybody and I tell myself, okay, I can beat that person, I can beat that one, I can beat that one. I don't know about that one, but I think I can beat that one, I can beat that one. So I look at not just the person's ability to speak or give a speech, but it's kind of an overall image that you get of someone, and you look at it. And so I will sit there and I will dissect a person and say, okay, this and this and that. Now, one thing that I tell anybody that's competing is you can have the perfect speech. You can be dressed perfectly. You can look amazing. You can feel amazing. You can deliver the speech perfectly, and you still won't win. And that's okay, because I believe, I'm not sure, don't quote me on this, but there are probably over 30 judges at the international level. And out of 30 people, you're not going to make everybody happy. There's going to be maybe 20 that like you and 10 that don't. or 10 that like you and 20 that don't like you or your style. So just because you don't place at a contest doesn't mean you're not a good speaker or you're not a good presenter or you didn't have a great speech. Because I know I've written some really good speeches and presented them and didn't even place. So you have to ask yourself, how serious are you about winning? Do you have thick skin? Can you just shake this off and say, okay, you know what? They didn't like that. It's nothing personal. I have to go reinvent myself, grab a different style, grab a different method, whatever. And you just keep hitting. It's like spaghetti. You just keep throwing it against the wall and see what sticks. Oh, they like this? Okay, let's do a little bit of that next time. Okay, they like this? Okay, well, let's mix this and that. So by the time that I won, this was 7 years making it to the finals, and then having to wait another 5 years after that to make it to the finals this year. How invested are you? How serious are you about winning? You see, some people can say, oh, I'm going to do this. And it's with everything. It's losing weight, a relationship, your kids, a marriage, whatever. How serious are you about it? How invested are you about it? You say, you know what? This job, I'm going to make it the best job I've ever had. I'm going to give it everything I've got. And if it takes me 15 years, it takes me 15 years. But some people don't have that type of commitment. And that's the type of commitment you need with anything that you want to succeed in. That's the ticket.
Very inspiring and important message. Wow, we are inspired. And for example, how was when they say second place, Luisa Montalvo in 2019?
I remember Phyllis Allen, my mentor, actually went with me to Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
She had been to 20 other conferences, so she was excited to go to international conferences. She'd been all over the world. This was my first international conference, and I remember I called an Uber, and we were going to go eat at Burger King. And Phyllis was bragging to the Uber driver, and said, you know, she's one of the top 144 speakers in the world. And I'm like, wow, top 144. I was excited. So then when semifinals was down to the top 28, I went, oh my gosh, I'm one of the top 28 in the world. And then we went to finals, and that was top 8. And to me, it was too much it was too much for me to grasp or to understand or to accept. So I had said, and even if you don't place, you're one of the top 8 speakers in the world. How awesome is that? So when they announced third place, it was Kuan Yu Yang, and then second place, and I'm thinking, you know, I'm not going to get it. And they mentioned my name. I went, wait, what? So I ran up there and I said, oh, yes, absolutely. Second place, I'll take it. So I was excited. And then Aaron Beverly went on to win first place, and I was so happy for him. He did a really good job on his speech.
I saw the feelings in the live stream, your feelings. You were very excited holding your trophy.
Yes.
And also we could say that Aaron had experience from another year, so I think that he had the commitment for that year getting the first place. But imagine, in this case, in 2019, that only one person is, I won't like to say above you, but that you are the second better speaker in the world.
Okay, and it's funny that you say that, because I was very, very happy and very proud of myself for coming in second place. It was the first time a Hispanic had actually gotten second place. And I was speaking to somebody in Puebla, Mexico, and they said, Luisa, you're the best female speaker in the world.
Oh,
I went, oh, wow. And so, you know, there's so many different ways to look at it. And she put that silver lining on it for me. I went, oh my gosh, I'm the best female speaker in the world. That's true, because Aaron had won first place, and he's male, and I was female. And I was the best Hispanic speaker in the world at the time. So it's so many different ways you can look at it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's awesome.
And I think that at everything in life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's the way you look at things. It's your outlook. It's your outlook.
And then comes something really important that I think it's an experience that helped you, that we could say that helped you a lot. I know that it was tough, it was hard, but it helped you a lot for the next time that you try it. Well, that you got your crown, is that you had an accident.
Yes. And I was just speaking to you earlier about the one line that I thought was so important in the finals speech that I gave this year that I left out. And I realized I had made mistakes, but you can't let your audience know that you've made a mistake. But the one line I forgot to mention was the line where I say, this accident was no accident, because it mentally gave me an adjustment, shifted my paradigm, my mental paradigm, and the way I look at things and the way I value things. Although I've always considered myself to value life, to value everything I do every day, wake up with purpose, go do something that my mom could be proud of. So when the accident happened, I had been neglecting my health. I've been neglecting my family. I've been neglecting my mom. I've been neglecting my home because I was devoting so much time to trying to save the dogs. It consumed me. So when the accident happened and I couldn't walk, and I still can't walk, it's almost been 3 years, but it put a stop to everything. And it almost made me sit back and say, okay, why did this happen? This happened because I needed to slow down. I needed to scale back. I needed to start saying no when I always would say yes. So it's been an adjustment for me, and I think it came at the perfect time, which I think everything happens for a reason. So I'm not grateful that the accident happened, but I know it was perfect timing for me for this to happen, because it made me look at life so differently, and I'm very grateful for that.
And here is very important to highlight that I was invited to a Bronzeville Toastmasters meeting, and I went because I love Toastmasters, and I didn't have the experience of going to a club from another country. In this case, I have the privilege of live close to the border. I accepted the invitation, and you were there. And
oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah. And I was so excited. I was looking at you like, oh, is she? Or she isn't? And you were the general evaluator.
Oh, yes, that's right, that's right.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe it in that moment. And I didn't know that you were going to go to the semifinals again. Mm-hmm. And I was so thankful with life. I'm still so thankful with life that we could meet in that point, mm-hmm. in that part. And then I knew that you were going to the semifinals, because then was the officer training.
Yes.
And I came here to McAllen. And that you were going the next week from that training to go to the semifinals mm-hmm. again. Mm-hmm. How was that process? Specifically, last year process, 2020, this one, 2024. I remember that you were talking about sharing your speech. Well, not your speech, or maybe your evaluations. You were training. You were going to different clubs. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I felt it was very important. Whenever you can get a good evaluation from an evaluator, or a good critique, or a good comment. I absolutely love when people come up and say, oh my gosh, that was a great speech. You did amazing. It makes me feel good, but I'm not growing. So when somebody comes up and says, you know what, Luisa, you said something and it didn't sound right, or maybe you said it wrong or whatever, I ask them right away, why? Well, what do you mean? Please tell me more. What is it, the part you didn't like, or what didn't make sense? Anything like that, because that's how I grow. If somebody comes up and gives me a great evaluation, that's what I want. So when I went to Brownsville, I had given my speech, I got evaluations on it. And then when I knew I was going to the semifinals, that's when I started practicing my finals speech. And so many people said, you know that part where you talk about God? Maybe leave that out. And I thought, no, I'm not leaving it out. Because if I don't win, I'll just come back the next year and compete again. So it wasn't so much that I have to win this year, I have to win. No, it's okay. If I lose this year, like I had lost the last 12 years, it's okay. I'll come back again next year and I'll try something different. But I left the part in about God and St. Peter and heaven, and it worked. And I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was really, really cool that the judges were, because of the way I presented it, they were accepting of the idea. So
nice. And also the audience answer is important. You passed the semifinals. You passed to the final. And there were you. Again. Oh my God. You know, I'm like reminding the live stream and then waiting for the results. Phyllis was with you?
This year, no. Okay. Phyllis was here. She couldn't go. I had asked her to go. She wasn't able to go. But I know there were people watching here from my home city, from my home club. And I was actually FaceTiming on the phone when they were going to announce the winners. I was talking to my best friend and my cousin, and I felt I hadn't done a great job on the speech because I had left out 2 or 3 things. And I remember I'm on FaceTime. I said, hey guys, they're announcing the winners. And they were watching the live stream, so they were watching what was going on. And of course, I was right there, and they were announcing the winners. And I remember telling them, I said, you know what? I'll just have to come back next year and try again because I know I'm not going to win. And they said third place was Anna.
Something.
Yeah, Anna Lee. I can't remember her name. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I believe it's Anna Lee. And then the second place, Hannah. And that's when I told my friends, I said, hey, you know what? I'll just come back next year. And then they said, first place, Luisa. And I went, wait, what? So again, I'm usually arguing or disagreeing with the judges. So this year when they announced that I was the winner, I said, are you sure? Because it seems like I was always in conflict with the judges because I never agreed with who they would choose. But this time they chose me, and I thought, wait, are you sure? Are you serious? You know, count the votes again. But it was so shocking and so exhilarating and just surreal all in one. And then I remember just standing up and getting out of my wheelchair, and I just wanted to walk because I remember I had made a promise to myself and my mom. And even though I don't think she understood what I was saying because she suffered from Alzheimer's, I said, Mom, if I win this year, I'm going to walk and receive my trophy. I'm not going to be in crutches. I'm not going to be in a wheelchair. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to walk. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. So when they announced my name, I stood up and I tried to start walking, and right away, the district director, Yiding, came and grabbed me, and then Lauren Parsons, who had just received her accredited speaker award, she came and I said, help me. And she said, sure. So the two of them walked me to the stage, and there was a gentleman there that grabbed my wheelchair and put it up on the stage for me. And he went to offer it to me after I went up the steps. And I said, no, I got this, because I had made a promise to my mother and to myself that I was going to walk to receive my trophy. So I think I took maybe 5 steps and I was able to receive my trophy. And so to me, that was more of an accomplishment than actually winning, because I had told myself, this is what I'm going to do. And the mind is a beautiful and amazing thing, because if you tell yourself, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, and then when the time arises and you actually, rise up to the occasion, it was amazing. It was more than amazing.
What happens after that? For example, you, the first place, you the first place, the second place, and the third place receive their trophies. Are you taken to another room or something?
Back in 2019, it was really cool because it was kind of like a spy movie. Because what happens is, or what was happening back then in 2019 before COVID, people used to get in line to be able to take a picture with the top 3 speakers. So instead of us going out to the audience, they took us backstage, they took us through the basement, through the kitchen of the hotel, and then we wound up somewhere else. And when we got there, there was a line of people already. And I remember calling my mom and saying, Mom, these people have been standing in line for 5 hours to take pictures with us. I'm more popular than the iPhone right now. And so that's what happened in 2019. But I think after COVID, things changed around. And so what we did was right after we won, they immediately took us to the press room where they took pictures and had interviews, short little interviews. And then they went and took us back on stage to where Aaron Beverly was talking to the three of us, asking us questions. And then after that, by now maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours has gone by since the announcements and winners were made. Then they said, okay, you're good now, you can go do whatever you want. And so when I remember leaving the auditorium, and it usually took me about 15 minutes to get from the auditorium to my hotel room. But that night, because I'd won, it took us 7 hours. because everybody was stopping and we were taking pictures, and I made it a point that anybody that came up and said, hey, can I take a picture with you? This is what they've been waiting for. And so I wanted to let everybody take a picture if they wanted a picture with me or talk to me or whatever they wanted to do. So it was amazing. It was so good, so wonderful. I could feel all the adrenaline, but it's like all the love. You know, in 2019, people were saying, oh, can I take a picture with you? And we would take a selfie and, hey, okay, cool, and thank you, and congratulations, all that. But for some reason this year, people were coming up to me and they were telling me, can I give you a hug? And I was like, sure, absolutely. And so I received, probably 700 hugs, because everybody that came up said, hey, can I hug you? I said, sure. And it was just a really good hug. So it was a really different feeling, and it felt really, really good.
Wow.
Different. Awesome.
With all of this experience, Luisa, would you like to say something to all the people that is watching that would like, one thing, maybe reach what you have done? And second, any other dream that they have?
One thing that's very, very important to remember, and I hope everybody takes this to heart, because I am no better a speaker than anyone. All I did was 4 things. I said the right thing on the right day at the right time to the right judges. That's it. Because so many of the times I thought I had a good speech and I didn't even place. So all you have to do is say the right thing on the right day at the right time to the right judges. And if it doesn't work out, and if it's truly your dream or your passion, turn around and do it again. Keep going. And this is, like I said, this is with any aspect of your life. You know, if you really want it, you're going to keep going till you get it. And that's all it is.
Wow. I'm still so thankful for being here with you. I also know that you do some social service to the community, rescuing dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to share with us some of that?
Sure, I would love to. I have a bucket list, and I probably have had this bucket list for about, items on this list for 8-9 years. And I got involved with homeless dogs and shelter dogs through a rescue in New York. And after I've seen what actually goes on, I want to make a difference here in South Texas with that. And the way I feel I could make a difference or make some kind of impact or dent in the high euthanization rate here is by starting a free spay and neuter clinic, which I've been talking about since, I believe, 2018. And it's been a slow process because we need veterinarians, we need equipment, we need a building, we need a lot of things, and also monetary funds to be able to pay for the anesthesia and the veterinarians. So because of this, this year I've been able to check off winning #1 in the world. And so now the second thing I'm going to start working on now is, of course, the spay and neuter program. It's something that I am hoping I am able to achieve before I die again. But it's on my list. It's a goal of mine. And the Toastmaster community has been absolutely fantastic in helping me achieve some of the things I needed to. And I thank you for that. But that's my next project, is getting this spay neuter clinic and having it come to fruition. So I'm excited about it.
I saw how you rescued a little puppy today, and it was amazing. How do you know how to put up again a puppy?
The great question, the thing is that it's with anything you do, if you do it for 8 years, you learn a lot. And being around puppies that have had parvo or distemper or anemia, just anything, you learn what to do to help the puppy. So there's always sub-Q fluids, there's medicines, there's giving it a bath, giving it tinic, which is just iron if they're anemic. It's just so many different things. And almost like with anything, you can throw all this at it and you hope that the puppy makes it and hope the puppy lives. And 90% of the time they do. And so you've done something good and something right. And as a kid, I wanted to be a veterinarian, but I didn't make that. So this is, for me, a great way to be able to give back, to try and save as many dogs as I can.
I was thinking in an analogy when you were in action there about how much do we hold to life. It's like, okay, what we can do for this little puppy. And I told you, he will be very beautiful. It will be very beautiful when she grows up. I couldn't imagine if the puppy passed away. Mm-hmm. And what we can do. I don't know, I think I'm getting a little emotional.
Yeah. Yes,
what you can do. Or I don't know why these stories are around me in this moment of my life. Because this amazing story, this experience that you had, or what I saw there trying to save the puppy. And maybe with the tools that I have and the people that I know, how can I take more advantage of each minute of life and experiences? Mm-hmm. And what also can I do for my community to influence in a good way? Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm getting emotional.
No. But that's just it. There's absolutely nothing to be sorry about, because it would almost concern me if you weren't emotional.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is that I have seen this for the last 8 years, and you almost have to put up a wall so that it doesn't hurt you so much that you just want to quit. So every day I get a phone call, or maybe every other day, can you help me? I've got a puppy. There's a dog over here in the street. This dog's got a broken neck. Of course, now he's my dog. But you have to keep going. Okay, yeah. Let me see how I can help it. Okay, we're going to try. And if it makes it, it makes it. And if it doesn't, well, maybe we learned something along the way, but that just makes me want to try harder the next time. But it can take a toll on you emotionally, mentally, and
it makes you strong.
It either makes you or it breaks you. And I've been through so much now. Somebody used a line and I absolutely loved it. I said, I didn't come this far to just come this far.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't come, I'm going to take it all the way. And that, because to me then, everything that I've done in the past was for nothing. It's like with my accident. I can't, but you know what? I'm going to keep going. I'm going to get better. I'm going to walk. I'm going to do this, because if not, then everything that I've been through was for nothing. I can't fathom that. So I keep going. You just keep going. But yes, community effort, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be dogs. It can be anything. It can be elderly people in nursing homes. It can be, babies in hospitals. Anything you want to, homeless people, anything you feel you want to help or make better.
But
absolutely.
I think everything relates to the same life. Luisa, I'm so thankful with you for giving me your time, your energy. I think time is very important. It has a lot of value in this globalization. And maybe you would like to say something to someone. You already thanked to Alice, to the people maybe from your club. What club do you belong to?
Oh, my district, District 55. They are absolutely amazing. They've always supported me since I can remember. And you know what is really, I had a hard time wrapping this around my head, but I remember I would go to compete, and every year you see the same faces, and I know it's my Toastmaster family, and they're almost more than just that. But so many people, and this is what I had a hard time grasping, is they came up to me and they go, "Oh, good luck, you can do it, I know you can." And it's hard for me to accept that somebody that doesn't even know me wants me to win or to do my best or to reach the goal I want to reach. So that has been absolutely beautiful with District 55, and I owe them so much. And they were a great support when I had my accident, because I was getting calls and messages from everybody. They were checking on me, and it felt really good to know that people cared about my well-being. But thank you so much, District 55. Again, thank you, Phyllis Allen, for being there, for mentoring me, for starting the clubs so that I was able to actually compete here. And again, for any Toastmaster, whatever it is, whether it's leadership, whether it's gavel masters, working with kids, whether it's competing, whatever it is, have fun, because I learned that's the best thing to do, is have fun. And when you do that, everything becomes so much easier. I can't say enough good things about Toastmasters International. I want to thank the organization for giving me the opportunity to be able to represent it this year. And I hope I do a good job. And like I said, for anybody else out there, give it all you got. You never know where you're going to wind up. Look at me.
Why would people should join Toastmasters?
I joined Toastmasters just to compete. However, along the line, I've learned a little bit about leadership. I've also learned a lot about mentoring. I've learned different things that I didn't think fell under the competition series. So you start for one thing, and you wind up learning so many other different things. And there's so much value in that I'm so glad that I was able to stick around and continue Toastmasters, because it wasn't just about the competition. Again, now I've got a great family, Toastmaster family, and I've learned different aspects on leadership, on mentoring. So join for whatever reason you want to join, but just realize you're going to get more than what you paid for. I guarantee it.
So it's like this lesson that says to enjoy the process.
Yes, absolutely. Enjoy the process. Mm-hmm.
Luisa, thank you so much. I could call our relation as a friendship. And I hope to see you many times.
Absolutely.
As we can. Let's remember you're here close to McAllen. I live there in this moment in Matamoros, and really I love to come with you and the crew, the McAllen Club.
Yes.
Because they receive me as a family.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I appreciate it a lot.
Absolutely. Anytime, every time. More than welcome.
Thank you so much, Luisa, and thanks to our audience for watching. Bye.